All of us make a cup of tea without even thinking about it, but as scientific experiments go, it's right up there. And there are many factors which contribute to the perfect cuppa. And the main ones are the quality of the water, the temperature of the water, and the infusion. Hard water contains minerals such as calcium carbonate, which can lead to a surface scum on the tea. So if you live in an area with hard water, it's a good tip to filter it. In terms of flavour and aroma, it's really important that the water is as close to boiling point as possible when it hits those tea leaves. So warming the pot is a really good idea. Now I'm going to add the tea, about a teaspoon per cup. But I actually like mine quite strong, so I always add one for the pot. And then in with the water straight away, so that it's really, really hot. There we go. Lid on. Now, what's happening in there now is the heat of the water is extracting the polyphenolic compounds, or the tannins, from the leaves, which is giving colour and flavour to the water. Now, the big question is, which gets poured first, the milk or the tea? And science has the answer, no matter what the royal family's butler says. If you pour cold milk into hot tea, the individual drops of milk hit the hot tea, the proteins denature, and that leads to an inferior taste. So pour the milk first, it's official. There we go, make sure you strain your tea in. And that looks, I reckon, pretty much a perfect cup. Oh, yeah, it is. Now, tea in the morning is always served with toast in my house. Tea in the afternoon, though, it's all about scones. You need a little bit of flour, a bit of cream of tartar, a bit of bicarbonate of soda, and then you just work all those through the sieve like that. You need to add some butter to it. Now, there's not very much butter in a scone recipe, but there's just enough to enrich in it. And you just need to work that into the flour until it starts to sort of resemble breadcrumbs. Once you've got it to that stage, just make a well in the centre of the flour like that. Break an egg into the middle. Pour in some sugar, which is going to sweeten the whole thing. And then with your fingertips, just lightly mix the whole thing. Now, at this stage, it'll still be quite crumbly. What it needs is a little bit of milk. So there's no particular measurement. Just pour some in and work it into the flour until it starts to form a nice compact dough. And just lift that out onto a nice floured surface. All we need to do now is roll that out. And for the rolling, again, just work very lightly with the rolling pin because we need to start with scones that are fairly thick. Once it's rolled out like that, take a cutter. What you need to do is just go into the scone and then push the scone out like that and then just take the dough away so that you've still got those lovely indentations around the scone. That just goes onto a piece of baking paper. And I promise you, whether I had the builder down the road coming to have a cup of tea or if I had the Queen coming around to have a cup of tea, that is the scone recipe I'll be using. Now, these have been cooked in the oven and cooled slightly. There's a couple of more tips to impart yet. Just take the scone, cut it in half, and they're still lightly warm. The second thing is clotted cream. Don't use anything healthy like double cream. Make sure you get in there with the real stuff. And I put the cream on first, and I put plenty on. And then I think it has to be strawberry jam. So a really good strawberry jam. Now, most important of all is once you've got your scone, look at that, you need a really good cup of tea. And we all know how to make that now.